The 2024 election primaries are kicking off in just a few short weeks. So Iowa is on the 15th, New Hampshire on the 23rd. So what are voters thinking? A few days ago, the Wall Street Journal put out a nice chunky piece sitting down with voters in the 25 counties who have decided every election since the misunderestimated W was dodging shoes in the White House. In short, they found voters who are struggling financially, who feel their communities are in decline, and who are worried that America's best days are behind us. These swing districts paint a picture of the voters who will decide the election, at least going by the votes. On average, they have lower median incomes, lower levels of education. They're older, whiter, and disproportionately live in small towns and rural areas. More than half live in communities with shrinking populations as the young flee and the old die off. As for this election, they are desperate for change, especially concerned about inflation, which polls have shown is overwhelmingly the top issue for voters, across parties, by the way, and the border is now catching up in terms of concern. They pine for the, quote, smoothly functioning economy of the Trump years when, for example, you could buy a house. One Biden voter was livid at paying $28 for a bag of cat food. However, he worried about Trump's, quote, authoritarian tendencies. So for that, you can thank a journalist. Indeed, polling shows that is the divide. So media and the corrupt DOJ, have successfully poisoned a huge swath of voters against Trump, to the point that most Biden voters say they're actually voting against Trump, not for Joe Biden. As one high school basketball coach put it, quote, Trump scares me. And yet voters' top concern is the economy, and increasingly the border, and obviously they believe Trump would do a much better job on both. As one voter put it, quote, all I know is my 401k was doing great, gas prices were low, the market, the economy were all churning along. So their heart is telling them no, well, their television is telling them no, but their brain is seriously thinking about Trump. That's even true of Black and Hispanic voters who have become so frustrated with inflation, the economy, and the illegal migrants that many are up for grabs, perhaps for the first time in their life. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Ignoring who is counting the votes, for voters, the 24 election is going to be a monumental test of the left's fear-industrial complex. Namely, can it overcome the least popular president in a generation? It is not a done deal despite Joe Biden's incompetence, so millions of Americans still passively accept what the media tells them, no matter how absurd. If you doubt this, consider how many Americans currently think sex is imaginary. And indeed, the bookies currently peg the election at a dead heat, 49% each. And finally, the elephant in the room. Who is counting the votes? Of course, the left will cheat, as they have since at least 1960 when they won the dead vote by a landslide. The question is, how much will they cheat? The courts are starting to wake up, so 2 elections were recently annulled in Louisiana and Connecticut for illegal votes, but we're going to need a lot more backbone from the courts, or, dare we dream, from Congress, if the other half of Americans are going to start believing in elections again. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.